Well, good morning, friends. It is Monday. It is day one of our challenge. Welcome. So you might be thinking, I just got added last night or I just got added today. I have no idea what I'm doing. And I'm going to say, take off the hat of perfection. You're in the right spot. So first things, go back and look at Kimberly's video from yesterday. She's going to give you a wealth of information, lots of little nuggets to work with. Here's the thing. You may be coming into this thinking, it's only 5 days, Stephanie. Like, how much can actually change? Nothing's going to happen in 5 days. And I'm going to offer to you that a lot can happen in 5 days. It's insane what can happen in 5 days because we have the power of our brain and our mindset. So come along on the journey with us. Give 100%. Make every second in this group together count, okay? So first things first, you're never behind. You can always catch up, but this is kind of a work at your own pace. Just don't miss the information. So if you're new to this group, go back and watch Kimberly's video or at least read the post and find out what we're doing, okay? There's some core principles, one of which is tracking. And I want to give you a little story of my experience and particularly my experience around tracking, because when I started to relearn this protocol, I was like, no way. So, by the way, yes, you get sweaty, hair crazy Stephanie this morning, so enjoy. But if you're like me, give me some thumbs up, some hearts if you grew up in the 80s or 90s. If you grew up in the era of Snackwells and fanatical ways that we were dieting. In fact, I know there's some dudes in this group, which is awesome, welcome, but most of us are women. The statistic goes like this. Most women have been on a diet for 25 years of their life. Think about that. I will be 45 next week, and it's like, that's like almost half, that's half of my life. That's over half of my life that I have been worrying about, obsessing about, counting calories, doing the diet thing, okay? And what we hope for this group and for you is that you start to taste a little bit of freedom in this 5 days. You start to break free from that chain of diet mentality and the pressure of the outside world telling you that you've got to do all these different things to be healthy and fit. You don't. So there's a little acronym in the word diet. You're on a diet if you are thinking to yourself, did I eat that? D-I-E-T, did I eat that? Because if you have to wonder, did I eat that? Can I eat that? Is this on my plan? You're on a diet. You're on a highly restrictive protocol, okay? Now, there's a time and a place to cut things out, for sure. I mean, most of us can stand to cut out a lot more sugar. We can stand to eat a lot more vegetables. But that's healthy shifting, right? Like, that's not complete restriction. I'm never going to tell you can never have a cupcake again, okay? And that's why tracking gets to be so important. So I'm going to tell you a little story about me. So I was the girl, right? Like, I think most women struggle with self-image, went through high school, went through college, had an eating disorder in college. We won't talk about that here, but kind of morphed into young 20s and 30s, and I was trying all the diets. I would buy diet books. I would buy, check out stuff from the library. And when my Fitness Pal, give me some thumbs up if you've ever used my Fitness Pal. It's actually a pretty good tool. So when my Fitness Pal came out, I was like, I'm on it. I can track all the things. I can scan. Well, when it started, you couldn't scan things, but then it became utilitarian. It was like you could scan the back of a label. You could punch all this stuff in. Here's the thing. It would give you a number. Here's how many calories that you are allowed to have per day, as if my Fitness Pal knew my body chemistry, as if it knew my hormone levels, as if it knew what was going on in my life and what fuel that I needed to make me healthy, strong, have great cognitive thinking, and be ready for the day. But I bought into it, hook, line, and sinker, and I was like, this is the way that we are going to control this and we're going to make progress. And so I started to do all the things. By the way, if you have ever been in a gym or you've ever read a fitness plan or any of that kind of stuff, and to this day is still very much the way people think, calories in, calories out. That's the equation. It's not that simple. I would urge you to think, if only for 5 days, that your body is uniquely designed for you. Your body is a chemistry lab. Your body needs food specifically for you. So what might work really well for you isn't gonna work as well for me. What works really well for me isn't gonna be the same for you, which is why we're not doing meal plans in here. We'll give recipe ideas and all that. This is why tracking is so important. But let's go back, MyFitnessPal. So I'm tracking in MyFitnessPal, I'm logging all the things. And I was making progress. The scale was going down. My clothes were getting looser. I was great. But you know what it is? It's kind of like that theory of like 1 Advil is good for my headache, 2 must be better. So I was like, all right, so if this is helping me lose weight, let's accelerate that. I will truncate my calories down a little bit more so we can lose weight faster. I will be a success story. I can talk all about myself. Awesome. So I did that. That's bondage, right? My mindset was so focused on the calories, and I got to a week. I remember this. I'm sure some of you fellow coaches we were probably newly coaching together. And I got to a week where I had, by the time I got to dinner, I had like 25 calories. What are you gonna do with 25 calories? Eat a carrot stick while your family eats a meal? And I did that for a couple of days. And then what I felt like was the whisper of God, like, wake up, girl. Like, this isn't what you're supposed to be doing. And I started to change the way that I looked at food. Food was not prison. Exercise wasn't penance. We could actually work together and feel great in the skin that we were given, right? One thing I tell my clients all the time is love yourself now so that you can love where you're going. I know that might be a leap. And you're like, we're supposed to be talking about tracking. Here's how this all comes together. This is what's great. Okay, do you have a tracker? Do you have something that you can write things down on? If you don't, grab a notebook. Have a piece of notebook paper for the week. Have your notepad in your phone for the week. Or there's a ton of options for tracking online. I actually grabbed this morning, I started a new workout. It came with a little tracker, which is so fun. But Kimberly went over what you're tracking. I won't go over all the fine details, but you want to weigh every morning. You want to get that baseline weight. It's data. It's not an emotional number. So go ahead and release yourself from that. It's data. We're just tracking progress. Data, all right? You don't get to be happy or sad when you look at that number. That's just a number. It goes in your tracker. And then your food, everything that you write down. She said every morsel, she had a cute little jingle that went with it. Every bite that you put in your mouth, you're going to write it down. Here's the thing. You're not going to write it down from a place of shame. That's what I was doing in MyFitnessPal. I was like, oh, a square of chocolate. I shouldn't have eaten that. No. Here's what you're going to do in your tracker. You're going to enjoy the food that you eat this week. And you're going to try some new things. You're going to try some new vegetables. You're going to try some new combinations. You're going to try some new recipes. But you're going to write it down. You're going to try it. You're going to track it. And you're going to see how you feel. There is freedom in that. Imagine how empowered you feel when you're like, okay, I'm going to lean into this process. I'm going to try what they're telling us to do. And I'm going to write it down. I'm going to see how I feel. Here's what else you get to track. You get to track your emotions. I know it's like 613. Why are you using feely words? But you're going to put down in your tracker, you can find out so much about yourself when you start to write that stuff down too. Give you one more little example. This summer, I was home with the kids, and so the weeks that they were in camp, I felt really good. Like, got some freedom, got some things done that were important to me. The weeks that they were home, I felt stressed. I felt a little bit of anxiousness in the afternoon, and I started to develop a habit with food that I was not liking. But the only way that I noticed that pattern was writing it down. Because otherwise I probably wouldn't have noticed it for a long time until it became a complete habit. So I was writing that down, and you know what I got to do? I got to look at that and I got to say, how is this time between 4 and 6 p.m. what I'm doing, how's that serving me? How's that serving me now? How's that serving Stephanie of tomorrow? Am I the best mom this summer because I'm overindulging every single day? No, I'm not. So I was able to say, what can I do in place of that? I got to track it. I got to write down, taking the dog for a walk, going outside, we're gonna play with the kids, we're putting up the hammocks. And I started to do some alternate patterns, and it was awesome. All right, what else are you tracking? You're tracking your water. Water is so important. Kimberly talked about that, but I was like, I drink enough water. I totally drink enough water. I am all about the water. I was not all about the water. I thought I was drinking a lot more than I was. So write it down. It's an experiment. Again, no shame. You might say my goal is to drink 80 ounces of water and you get down 60. Awesome. Tomorrow, let's go for a little bit more. So we're writing it down. We're trying it, we're tracking it, and we're seeing. All right, y'all got things to do, but track your sleep, track your poop, track all the fun stuff. But don't cop out on this. If you join this group and you're unwilling to pull out a piece of paper, you're unwilling to pull out a tracker, you're unwilling to just try this, I'm gonna say go ahead and remove yourself because it's not the place for you. You have to be ready, but you are ready. You said yes. So let's do it. Grab your tracker. Look today, probably in a couple of hours, I'll post more information about what is really good tracking, what is subpar tracking. Nobody wants to be subpar, right? Like we didn't want that on a test. I'm kidding. I'm not gonna grade you, but we are gonna give you some tips and we are gonna post our trackers later today. So don't be scared. This is a safe place. I love that you joined us for this. This is where breakthroughs happen, and it's the little stuff that you do every day that makes a difference. Y'all have a great Monday.